I'm from the Rotary Club of Colombo North. So I will be sharing a small insight about Adams Peak. So Adams Peak, also known as Sripalka, is Sri Lanka's fourth highest mountain situated in the Ratnapura district, and it is one of the most rare places where people of four major religions visits to worship. So there is a huge footprint at the summit of this mountain where Buddhists believes it to be Lord Buddha's left footprint mark that Lord Buddha has left behind when Lord Buddha visited to Sri Lanka, and Christians suggest that it is Adam's first set foot on earth, and also Hindus claims that it belongs to Lord Shiva. So the mountain peak has been a pilgrimage center for over 1,000 years, and this famous landmark offers some breathtaking views of the hill country, and many pilgrims of all faiths visit the peak every year. So one of the mysteries of the Adams Peak is the perfectly triangular outline, which is the shape of the summit itself, but it is not the shadow of the peak at all. It is a miraculous physical representation of the triple gem, which is kind of a Buddhist equivalent to the Holy Trinity. So Adams Peak is one of the major eco-tourism destinations in the hill country of Sri Lanka. That is it about Adams Peak. Thank you guys for watching.
Talk about few hidden tourist destinations in North India and South India. Talk about few hidden tourist destinations in North India and South India. First, Rajasthan, land of kings. Rajasthan is the captivating heart of locals and tourists. Second, Leh Ladakh, Himalayas in the south and the Karakoram mountains in the north. Leh Ladakh is the famous spot for the trekkers and the bikers enthusiasts. Third, Manali. At an altitude of 2050 meters in the B Valley lies Manali. Fourth, Amritsar is a treasure of history, culture and obviously astronomy, which impresses thoroughly with the beautiful Golden Temple, Wagah border and Jallianwala Bagh. Fifth, Varanasi, one of the oldest continually inhabited city in the country. From centuries is being important site for Hindu pilgrims and the spiritual seekers from across all over the world. Let's have a look of South India also. First, Coimbatore, which is situated in Tamil Nadu, is known as Manchester of India, is best known for its textile industry. Second, Rameshwaram, which is also situated in Tamil Nadu, best known religious place in Tamil Nadu. According to the mythology, this is where Lord Ram led his army to Lanka and rescued Sita from Ravan. Third, Bangalore, Karnataka, city of lake, garden, IT parks and the startup offer plenty to explore and discover. Fifth, Ooty in Tamil Nadu, Queens of Hill Station balances the hustle and bustle of city life with expensive tea gardens. Last but not the least, Wayanad in Kerala, out of the most visited hill station of South India.
Hi, I'm Shara Zubair from the Rotary Club of Colombo North, Sri Lanka, and I'm going to be talking about Veeravilla, which is my favorite tourism destination in Sri Lanka. Veeravilla is a very small village towards down south and is blessed with its abundance of greenery, fresh air and nature. But what's more special about Veeravilla is the local people around the village and the hospitality. And one more thing I love about Veeravilla is how you can get involved in the activities they do on a day-to-day basis and experience something new. Just like Palmyra weaving. So we get to involve with the locals there and make your own Palmyra bag. Or maybe get involved with the pottery makers and make your own little pot. On the other hand, you can also get involved with the buffalo curd makers and make your own buffalo curd. Apart from all of these local community-based experiences, if you are this adventurous person, you can do a jeep safari to the Yala National Park, which is Sri Lanka's largest national park. You can also enjoy a boat ride on the Veeravilla Lake. Finally, you must not leave Veeravilla without tasting their local cuisine, the local rice and curry, which is out of this world. I think I covered the most important facts about Veeravilla and how beautiful the village is. So I would recommend you to come enjoy Sri Lanka and feel the locality.
The eastern and western regions of India have a plethora of tourist destinations whose beauty and magnificence are worthy of. Going to Sikkim, we have the Gateway of Sikkim, which is located in Gangtok. the capital city of Sikkim. The views are breathtaking and boast of the magnificence of nature. Up next, we have the Kaziranga National Park in Assam, which is the home of the one-horned rhino. This park has been declared as a World Heritage Site. Assam is also the location of the world's largest freshwater island called Majuli. Now we travel to the eastern side of the country. Now we move to the western side of the country. Udaipur is also known as the City of Lakes, which is the crown jewel of Rajasthan. Surrounded on all sides by the Aravalli Hills, making the city the most loveliest location ever. The Ajanta and Ellora caves of Maharashtra are considered as one of the most important tourist destinations in the world due to their rock-cut sculptures and paintings. The Gir National Park, located in Gujarat, is the only home for the Asiatic white lions, whose beauty and magnificence are unparalleled.
Hey guys, my name is Akmal Nimaladasa and today I will talk to you about Nilaveli Beach, Trincomalee. So Nilaveli is a coastal resort town situated in Trincomalee district. It is a historically popular Tamil district that is located in Trincomalee, where visitors have been frequenting since for a long time. However, due to the 2004 tsunami, visitors have decreased until 2010, after which it rose once again. Pigeon Island National Park, one of the two marine national parks, is situated 1 kilometer off the coast of Nilaveli. The national park contains some of the best coral reefs in Sri Lanka. Pigeon Island was designated as a sanctuary in 1963 but was reopened as a national park in 2003. The national park is the 17th in Sri Lanka. The island was used as a shooting range in the colonial era. So I personally would really recommend visiting this site, as I have had the pleasure of visiting this beach when I was young, and I could say it is one of the best experiences of my life. The beaches are very beautiful, it is calm, it is very relaxing, and you will definitely enjoy a day out there. So that's pretty much it, and thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, this is Roto-Actor Garima. I'll be speaking about the holidays celebrated in northern and southern India. First is Andhra Pradesh Day. It is celebrated on 1st November, also known as Andhra Pradesh State Formation Day. Then we have Karnaka Jayanti. Then it is celebrated on the 3rd day of Kartik month, that is Hindu calendar month overlapping with October and November. It is celebrated on the birth of Kanaka Das, who is renowned composer in Carnatic music, a poet and a philosopher. Then Bhogi. Bhogi is the first day of 4-day Makar Sankranti festival. People discard old things and concentrate on new things, causing change or transformation. Then we have Boxing Day, that is celebrated in Telangana. It is a holiday celebrated right after Christmas Day. Though it is originated as a holiday to give gifts to the poor, today Boxing Day is primarily known as shopping holiday. Then we have Makar Sankranti or Uttarayan or Maghi. Then we have Makar Sankranti or Uttarayan or Maghi, or simply Sankranti, is a harvest festival in the Hindu calendar dedicated to deity Surya, the god of sun. Then we have Vishu in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. The festival marks the first day of Madam, the 9th month in calendar, followed in Kerala. Then we have Cheti Chand, the first day of March or April. The Cheti Chand, moon of Chaitra, is the festival that marks the beginning of Lunar Hindu New Year for Hindus. Then we have Puthandu. Puthandu, also known as Puthu Varduram or Tamil New Year, is first day of year on the Tamil calendar and traditionally celebrated as a festival. Then we have Telangana Day, which is celebrated on 2nd June since 2014. It is commonly known as Telangana Formation Day. It is a state holiday in Telangana commemorating the formation of the state. Then we have Kannada Rajyotsav, also known as Karnataka Formation Day or Karnataka Day. It is celebrated on 1st November every year. Last but not the least are national holidays. First is Republic Day, which honors the date on which Constitution of India came into effect on 22nd January 1950, replacing the Government of India Act. Then Independence Day, it is celebrated annually on 15th August as a national holiday in India, commemorating the nation's independence from the United Kingdoms in 15th August 1947. Thank you.
What's that one thing which excites you the most for everything? Holidays, right? Today I'll be sharing a little information about what occasions we Indians get holiday on. Starting with Makar Sankranti. It is a festival of kites where people gather, fly kites and have dinner together. Another auspicious festival is none other than Ganesh Chaturthi. It is very famous all over the Maharashtra. It has been celebrated in arrival of Lord Ganesh on earth from Kailash Parbat with Mother Goddess Parvati. Some other occasions on which we get holidays are Pushkar Mela, Shigmo and Bhagorya Haat festival. These were all about the West. What about the East? In East, the culture differs a little from that of West. Bhai Dooj, which is similar to that of Raksha Bandhan, is a festival where sister ties Rakhi or Pavitras on the hands of or wrist of the brother, and in return brothers gift to the sister. Another festival is Lathamar Holi, which has been celebrated on the occasion of Rang Panchami. Lathamar Holi, also known as Holi of Stick, is being greeted by women playfully hurl the stick or the lathi on the men. Some other occasions on which they get holidays in East India are Rath Yatra, Bihu and Chiraba. Some public holidays like Gandhi Jayanti, which has been marked as birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Jayanti, which has been marked as the birth anniversary of great freedom fighter Subhash Chandra Bose, and Shivaji Jayanti, which is famous all over Maharashtra, which has been marked as the birth anniversary of great warrior Shivaji Maharaj.